Hello, welcome to episode 5. Episode 5 of the Jordan Warburton occurrence. I can't believe I've made 5 episodes already. It's wild. I remember sitting here feeling really anxious about even recording, and then even more anxious about publishing it, and I almost didn't do it. And here we are, making the 5th one, and I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying thinking of topics to speak about and what I can do to improve the podcast, whether it's just the audio or a better way to capture it on a video. And it's all a learning curve for me. So thank you everyone's taking the time to listen and watch, however you listen to me, and just listen to me chat shit about the subject I've found interesting or just really want to talk about. So remember, if you have any suggestions, just send them to me and I'll see if I can implement them. Doing it for fun at the minute. And just shout out, this episode sponsored by my daughter because she's kindly let me a ring light. Ooh, E.T. phone home. That was weird. Anyway, today's subject I've been thinking about for just over a week now, and it's a deep dive on how we all need to self-reflect sometimes. Because the main topic I've chosen today is the victim mentality and how it can make us a prisoner in our own minds. And I've been thinking really long and hard about this the past week because I've sort of been doing some self-reflection on how I've grown over the years, adapted, and I remember clearly being stuck in this victim mentality. I sat back and thought how from my experience, and then I thought the people who are and have been around me through my life and how sometimes they remain in this self-made prison of being a victim. Right, before you start getting angry with your loud type in and get ready to come tell me how wrong I am, let me just explain the angle I'm approaching this from. I'm no expert whatsoever on mental health and absolutely no qualifications or evidence of what I'm saying. So this is just on my opinion and how I've broken it down to rationalise it in my own head. I'm not here to say you're not a victim of whatever life has thrown at you. Unfortunately, everyone's a victim of something in life, and everyone's story is vastly different to one another, from the bad to the worst kind of things that can happen to someone. I'm not trying to anyone how to deal with any trauma they may have. I'm just asking you to think about how you approach your own mentality on the world around you and situations you might find yourself in. So I'm talking about my own personal experience today as well, and how being trapped in a victim mentality didn't help me process and accept the things that happened to me. The big one, when my sister unexpectedly died when she was 14, and I spent a lot of time shutting myself off from the world and being angry at the world and thinking, why does everything bad happen to me? And it took me the best part of 5 or 6 years to stop being so angry at the world and everyone else in it, really. It was a really hard journey for me. I was only 17 when it happened. I had to navigate through all the emotions that grief brings with you and learn to accept things how they are. I spent so long in the mindset that this keeps happening to me and how life is unfair. But in reality, that is the world we live in. It isn't fair. And life does, if sometimes when you're in a bad situation, it feels like life's being kinder to others than it has to you. So does that mean we should be angry at the world for this? I don't think so, because we're probably in control of about 15% of the things that happen to us. Could be less, but it's just a ballpark number. Whether that's making the choice to snooze our alarm that one extra time, knowing we're going to be late for work but we really needed that extra 9 minutes, or not deciding to make changes in our own lifestyle to make us healthier or just happier. So realistically, 85% of the things that happen to us are completely out of our control. So, what do we do? Realistically, absolutely fuck all is the answer. But what we can do, take a step back, take a deep breath, and take control of how we react to the situation. Because that's one of the one things we can always control, and that's how we react to situations. I know this isn't a simple fix because different situations are going to come with loads of different emotions at once, and we may not react not as we normally would in those sort of situations. So does this solve the victim mentality prison I was talking about? Absolutely not. But it's a step to make changes in our own mindset, remind ourselves that situations come our way we are barely in control of, but we can control what we do next and how we emotionally react or sit back and calm our emotions before we react. I've, I've, I'm now of the opinion that if you take the being angry at the world route, it's going to eat into the core of who you are as a person, and that anger is going to eat away at you until you're just a shell of the person you were. I know from experience it's not a good place to be in. Sometimes holding on to something will hurt you more than just letting go. So, what do I think we can do better? Sometimes acceptance and forgiveness are really powerful tools that we can use to help change the way we approach our lives in general, really. I don't mean acceptance as in accepting someone's shitty behaviour because you love them. I mean accepting the situation for what it is and having the courage and faith to have the tough talks to the person to see if things will change, and have the faith then to take a leap or strive for something that's going to bring you calm, peace, whatever it is you want in your daily life. If you want chaos, that's your prerogative. Not for me. I like no drama. So forgiveness is the other tool I mentioned, and it's not just always to forgive someone else, but learn to forgive you. Yeah, that's right. Learn to forgive yourself. Life is hard enough as it is without being so hard on yourself. I've learned from personal experience. I found it really hard to forgive myself after my sister died. I spent pro- probably 7, 8 years blaming myself for her death, even though there was nothing realistic I could have done to change her. I just personally felt like a failure as a big brother, that I didn't protect her. So that was a really hard bit, and another part of myself I had to forgive to like grow as a person even more and just accept the situation for what it is, as hard as it was. So the road to breaking out of this prison I keep talking about, it's not an easy one, but it does mean that it's a lot of looking inward on yourself and having that really hard conversation with the voice in the back of your head. But I think we want to be, if you want to be constantly improving ourselves, it's always important to sit back and reflect on the situation, environment, and ourselves. Even when we're in a really good place, self-reflection helps to open up a line of communication with ourselves, not in a with like 7 different voices, but like just ourselves. Look at good situations, what went well, what could have gone better, but help. Just those little tweaks can make a good situation a great situation, and help improve on any of our flaws because we all got them. Nobody's perfect. We're humans. We're not meant to be perfect. And I wish there was just a switch could flick on and break out. People could break out these mindsets and strive to be the best version of themselves. But there is no switch. There's no quick fix. It's just keep doing the work on yourself and just enjoy the things around you. Go back to my last episode. I talked about we had 90% of the things we want, but we focus on the 10% we don't. Let's focus on that 90% more. So, obviously, I hope that anyone who watches or listens to me that may be in the similar situation that I've talked about today, I hope this helps you take that breath and maybe forgive yourself or someone else and like a fire inside to get yourself into a better mindset. And as always, if anyone needs help, support, advice, I'll always be here. I'll answer what I can, and never feel alone. It's it's over 7, but I think it's 8 billion people in the world now, and as much as technology hasn't helped mental health, it's a great way to reach out to people instantly, no matter where they are in the world. So never feel alone, please. So one thing before I ask myself, a thought-provoking question because I think this is something very important to remember. Happiness is an emotion. It's not a destination. You're not meant to feel happy all the time because it would be special if we were happy all the time. You just feel normal. And if it's something you like struggle to understand, I highly suggest. It's going to sound weird, but go and watch Inside Out. Even though it's a kids' film, it'll give you like a great perspective on how all the emotions play into everything. Just through the sadness there's happiness, and through happiness there's sadness, and it's a really good film. And if you struggle to understand anxiety, watch the second one. That helped me understand when I've been suffering with anxiety. It helped me really understand how it works, and it helped me process in my mind better. I'm not saying it's going to help everyone, but it might help you process things. So I hope this could help someone just break up this prison. I hope I haven't really said anything to offend anyone, and I hope it's made sense of what I'm saying and not come across as a condescending asshole. But let me know. I'd rather know. So, the thought provoking question I've chosen today, I think it's a nice place to go because it's a positive question about yourself. So, what's your favorite thing about myself? What's my favorite thing about myself? That makes more sense. So, again, I chose this today because it's a great way to like stop and think of the positive you think of yourself. And if anyone's like me, you'll understand how self-critical we can be to ourselves for no reason. We're our own worst enemies sometimes, and our harshest critics. Anyway, to move on to actually answer the question. Obviously, I've had a bit of primer because I found a question, picked it, spent a bit of time thinking about it. But I have to say, my favourite thing about myself is my kindness. Even in times I've been struggling mentally myself, I've always tried to be kind. And sometimes that's meant I've been kind to people even if they didn't deserve it. But I don't think I'd ever want to change that about me. I'd rather be remembered for being a kind but bold idiot than just be remembered as a bold idiot. So, no, I think it's a nice place to end the episode. But I'd like you to tell me what your favourite thing about yourself is. I want to see you all being positive about yourself because I think it's a great way to approach our lives a bit differently. So, thanks to everyone for watching and listening. However, you consume my content, and remember, be kinder to yourself. Look after yourselves out there. I hope you enjoyed episode 5 of the John Warburton Occurrence, and I'll see you on the next one.